Well, thank you for joining us on another episode of the Grim and Bloody Theater. We are honored to have Roshni Bhatia on with us, and we are going to be screening not one but two of her films that are on YouTube right now. The first one is called Celebrity Stalker, and that's going to be followed by Dark Passage, and they're both of the quality that you would expect if you've seen any of Roshni's work. That also includes Insiders and Plasmid, and she has a number of other films that are in the festival. So we're honored to have Roshni on. We had the pleasure of screening Plasmid at our 2019 festival, and she was definitely nominated for Best Writing by the Horror Writers Association. So it's a pleasure to have you on, Roshni. Thank you for joining us.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and introduce the first one, and then once it's finished, we're going to come back and we're going to maybe dive into it a little bit. This first one is Celebrity Stalker. You want to give us a little tease about it?
Sure. Celebrity Stalker is about a celebrity stalker who broadcasts herself on social media, breaking into homes of the elite, unaware that she may have just picked up her own stalker along the way. It's about 4 minutes, but yeah, I hope you enjoy it.
All right, guys, enjoy Celebrity Stalker. We'll come right back when it's finished.
Yes.
Hey losers, it's your favorite glam stalker. I'm about to do a surprise visit in someone's home. Someone who will remain nameless. Okay, let's go. Bingo. A welcome gift.
You know, I normally don't bring girls up here, but you're special.
Does that mean I'm gonna be in your movie now?
Call my people when you're 18.
Shit. You want me to explore a crazy mystery murder mansion? Help me get 100,000 followers? Okay, psychos. This is it. 106,000 followers, which means... Da-na-na-na! Yes, exactly. This house. Hollywood Hills Murder. You ready? Okay. Not creepy at all. Okay, so I guess this is where he was murdered. Souvenir. Okay. I do love shoes. Oh, I totally know what I'm gonna wear with this. Oh, I bet her saliva is still on this. I should keep it. Would this look good on me? Yes. This? Hello, fellow stalkers. If we hit 200,000 followers, I got something really, really special planned for you. People keep asking me, what's next? Why do you do what you do? Why do you have such flawless skin? None of your business, snitch. You know, somebody needs to put these assholes into their place. Hello? So, anyway.
All right, guys, thank you for coming back. That was Celebrity Stalker, written and directed by Roshni Bhatia. You can see there was some obvious skill behind the camera, and yes. From beginning to end, all of your films, Roshni, I just sit back and relax, and I know I'm going to be enjoyed. We usually talk about filmmakers that once we know that they're doing a project, we feel comfortable in their hands. Because we know we're going to get like a quality film for the time that it's screening. And I'd like to say that, you know, your work, and you're putting a number of films, they vary in run times, but they never overstay their welcome, and they're never too brief. It's like it's the perfect runtime to tell that story. So did you want to talk about a little bit about Celebrity Stalker? What inspired you to film it? Because there's some obvious pushing the limits to, you know, create an Instagram following, and as the followers increase, that pushes her to push the danger envelope a little bit.
Sure. Celebrity Stalker, you know, like all my other movies, what I try to do with my movies is I want to first tell the story I want to tell, and then I try to wrap it up in a skin of horror. So like Shadow at the Door is one of those movies that actually deals with mental health. But at the same time, I wanted to introduce the genre and trying to create a sense of tension, of fear. And that's why for me, when I say horror, I don't mean like slasher or something that's jump scares or stuff like that. Just as long as you feel the dread, the fear that the character is feeling, and we are giving the message that we want to give. So in that sense, Celebrity Stalker, you know, I thought of it more like a zeitgeisty effect of the times we are living in, with Instagram and Twitter and, you know, like influencers trying to become big. But, you know, along with that comes consequences, and you got to pay a price if you just go. Greed comes along your way, and that's where Celebrity Stalker, I try to make it about a character who breaks into the homes of the elite, kind of inspired by the Bling Ring as well. And you know, she breaks into the homes of the elite, but what would be scary? How can we make it unconventional in the way that we are not trying to be too literal about it, but at the same time trying to show that right after her there is a stalker. And I don't know if I can reveal spoilers, but in the end, it just happens to be that she has to pay the price of her greed.
Oh, we just watched it, so it's absolutely spoiler free.
Okay, right. Cool. But so you see, like with the stalker, he also wants to be famous. So it's not just like a stalker who just wants to kill. He also wants to be famous, and right after him, there might be somebody else. So it's like a chain, and yeah, it's just.
Very true.
That's about it.
And that is a really good valid point of the celebrity of, you know, like Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, whatever site you're on, and you're trying to go and say, hey, look at me, I want to be famous, but I'm going to go and creep over to some celebrity's house and break in, and especially the part that I really enjoyed about it was like when she breaks in, your lead actress breaks into the house that supposedly there was a murder that happened, and she was going like, "Ew, not spooky at all,"
Totally uncaring, right?
Yeah, and it's like, I don't think I would want to break into someone's house that just recently got murdered, No thanks.
That reminds me of another film called Nightcrawler with Jake Gyllenhaal.
That's right.
Where you're literally just chasing danger in order to get a rise out of your audience, right? And it almost never ends well when that is your motivation.
I like how our bad guy had that smear of lipstick. It gave him that just a bit unhinged feel to him. Is he supposed to be mentally deranged, or is he just special?
Yeah, kind of like inspired by the guy in Silence of the Lambs. That was my inspiration.
Oh, yeah. Excellent reference. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm forgetting his name, Billy or... Yeah.
Someone roll back the credits.
Right.
What I noticed with your films, Roshni, there is a heightened sense of tension when it comes to beats in the story. If you're not paying attention or you look away, then you're going to miss something important. And as we're watching Celebrity Stalker, we get towards the middle, we start seeing glimpses of whoever's in the house. And to be honest, the first time I watched it, I totally whiffed on the first two. But there, I was watching, like, damn, I know I missed something here. Let me rewind it, because they're so woven into what's going to happen that if you're not paying attention, and this is the mark of a good film record, people call them Easter eggs. I like calling it the little stuff that if you're not fully engaged, you're missing part of the story. I'd like to commend you because the beats are so seamless that you're almost just caught up in what this girl is doing. You don't notice this guy, right? But you, as a filmmaker, you are giving us cues to, like, there's something happening over here that you need to pay attention to, right? But I'm still watching her because she's dancing around. She looks like, Robin from Batman. But then I'm missing the guy who was just in the hallway. So
I thought more of Hit Girl, actually, but yes.
Right.
But you get what I mean. Yeah, it's like,
yeah.
And I've seen that, notice it in throughout your films. There's a sense of detail that is, I guess from a critic's eye, it's very much appreciative. It's not just I tell a story and I'm happy with whatever came out. It's I want to make sure that these little things are, placed in the right area at the right time. That when you get to the end, it's almost like, oh, this whole thing was happening from here. So is that something that you spend a lot of time on, making sure that it's happening the way you want to happen, or is just the way the story unfolds that it just happens to be so perfectly timed?
I think a lot of it comes to the pre-production side of it. When you are writing any short, you have your first draft, which is just, it's not something you want to put on the big screen. You want to then go back into the second draft and try to make it, edit it, add stuff, delete stuff, and make it as perfect as possible, which means that before you even get to writing, your outline needs to be so solid that you know that whatever you want to put on screen, like planting and paying off, Easter eggs, as you say, they all are mapped out right before you start doing that. So when it came to Celebrity Stalker, yeah, I did think of those, like the montage sequence. I knew, like, every shot I wanted to tell a story. Every picture every selfie she takes, there is a story. Like, from being kind of ominous, he starts becoming more and more clearer. And this happened the shoot was overnight. So there are many things that I wish I could go back and do, but with all the limitations we had, we tried to tell the story in the best possible way we could. But again, it all comes down to the outline. You got to be sure that you're trying to, you're not wasting your audience's time, but at the same time, you are trying to tell the story you want to tell.
That's wonderful. And I actually do want to say I really enjoyed the whole nice little heart emojis when she started, like, oh, hey, I'm getting all this and that, It was just like, oh,
That's probably
cute.
something that you would see, right, on a girl's phone as she's recording. I don't know. Maybe when my daughter grows up, they're going to start looking like that.
Yeah, and that wasn't something that was in my final cut, actually. What I had planned to put out online, it didn't have that interface where there are emojis and hearts and comments.
And dog
it all
bones.
came down in the end. Yeah, like how the moment the stalker, like every time she does something that may not, she puts like this kind of like, if I get to a milestone, then I will give you something bigger than that. And that's what I try to do. Like by the end of it, when the stalker comes along, they, instead of feeling the dread that something might have happened to our main protagonist, this guy's taken over her Instagram now. Let's see, now this is what we want, how disposable a character becomes just, overnight.
That's what I was saying about how people want, I'm not naming anybody, but yeah, you got people on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, whatever site you're on, and you go like, oh, hey, I got this many followers. And it's just like, oh, that's great, but don't think, about how if you do something that's not really, that good, you start losing all those followers. It's like, hey, it's life. People, and it's like, I would say it's not like anything to go, hi, I'm so pissed off, I'm going to go start, stabbing someone like in, Halloween, or become John Wick's 8 and go like, I'm going to get you suckers. But no, and that's the thing that I really enjoyed about your short, was that it was a good, solid story. It wasn't like, oh, hey, I've seen this before. But your film wasn't anything like, other short films or feature films. People could say, okay, I know what's going to happen here, there. But yours was really well made.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Didn't want to interrupt
you. Go
there,
ahead now.
As a filmmaker myself, I'll ask you two questions, technical questions about this little film. The girl, did you actually have a cameraman holding the phone up for her, or your camera? How did you do that?
So for the technical side, so there was a lot of debate. My initial idea was I did not want a DP at all. Like I wanted a DP not on set, but not in the scene, but being there to monitor and make sure all the shots are coming out fine, great. But I just wanted her to hold the phone and just add like a ring light and, give her that space and that creativity. But for some reason, it just didn't work out. I just felt like in my head, I thought I would have more control if she held the camera herself. But there is so much information with the guy standing behind, making sure the souvenir is in the shot. So all that framing is not something the actress in her mind, like she's playing the character and she's doing all those things. It made much more sense to get our DP in, and we got his own camera in, and he had his own rig, and we attached an LED right above it, so it would give that glow as if it's the glow of a phone screen. So, and I was standing right behind in the exterior shots, and in the interior shots, we would be at on the patio, and we would be watching it on a monitor, and the DP would be alone with the actress inside. Cool. Her name is Inja, and my DPs, Carlos, both are amazing actors and DPs. Yeah. They did a great job.
And that really helps with my next question, was the sound, because I was wondering if you filmed this on the phone. The quality is actually really good on this, and so many things, so many movies I see out today. You also had an on-camera, or I should say, an off-camera mic recording the sound for this rather than going through the itself.
We did have we had my friend Jonathan. He's almost like an engineer on set. So I don't, the thing with all my shoots, except for Plasmid, all my shoots, I try to get in people who can do multiple things, and not in the sense that it distracts them from what they are doing in the moment. So Jonathan took care of sound throughout. And whenever there was a MOS, he would help with lighting and grip work or gaffing and, any other logistical sort of stuff. But we did have sound on set. He brought his own equipment. The great thing about my wonderful crew members is they have their own gear. I have my own Sony A7S II. We all bring our own gear from our homes, and we try to film it that way and try to keep it at the cost to a minimum. And
That's awesome.
so the sound was Jonathan used his sound. He had his own gear. He's a film buff, so he has his own little studio back in Santa Barbara. But
Cool.
yeah, so we had multiple people do things. We had an AC, we had a production designer and her assistant, but we didn't try to go big. On any small shoot, we just want to keep it to a minimum, have fun with it, and not stress out. If guerrilla is possible, let's do that. If not, just be safe in whatever you do.
Yep. True.
Very nice.
Well, we have a second one that we want to screen for you, and we have more to talk about. This one is called Dark Passage, also
User
done by
call
Roshni. And I think you're going to enjoy this one, especially if you're a fan of the supernatural. So let's go ahead and roll film, Dark Passage.
Anastasiia. How's it going? I'm sorry, could you give me your ad? Marcus.
And we're back. I hope you like that. It had the creeps from
Yes.
the get-go. It had some trick photography. I know we want to talk about that. See, this is another film. It's a minute long, right? But you sit down and you just immediately start enjoying it. I mean, how many shorts have we watched, Al and Joe, where from the beginning, it's slow, it becomes a little plotting, and at some point you're wondering, okay, when does this pick up, right? This is only a 10-minute short, but we've already wasted like 6 minutes. There's been so many shorts that I've watched that you just kind of just want to yell at it, come on, let's go, right? You're a short, you have to, from the first minute, you have to get going, right? You have to engage, you got to hook them in. Never had that problem with yours, Roshni. From the get-go, it's we're just gonna have some fun. What else can I say? I'm running out of things to say.
Don't shoot.
1 minute short. Yeah, you're wishing it was longer because of the story, the skill, and even just the trick photography that you had with the ghost. There's also, I don't know if you did this on purpose, but it seemed like there was a hint at a larger world out there. Because when the passenger bit the, I'm guessing he was probably a gig driver. Your guess if it was Uber or Lyft. But when she bit the driver, the next car, he's in the back, and the same thing happens. So you're thinking, is this a virus? Is this something kind of like Pulse, where it's just going to multiply until it consumes everything? There's that little tease that I like, and that kind of gets the little brain going.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate that. It was a one-night shoot. This was literally the first film I made after Plasmid. We graduated fresh out of New York Film Academy in Burbank in Los Angeles. And we were so desperate to just shoot a film that was just a bunch of friends who are not worried about getting a permit or SAG and all that paperwork and take in like enormous amount of time to just get a 1-minute film made. We were just like, let's just make this film for fun. If it works, it works. It doesn't, it won't. And we will try to get better next time. And that is how that crew kind of stuck with me for Shadow at the Door.
Cool.
We
Back here. And yeah, so it was quite a lot of fun with Anastasiia from Shadow at the Door, and Marcel, who's actually not an actor, he's a magician. He was on Penn and Teller for a while, and I just request, could you please act in this short for me?
So I was mentioning the magician. Which actor was that?
It was Marcel Eddy.
Okay.
Marcus Eddy, sorry. Marcel was on another film. Marcus Eddy was on Penn and Teller. He was he fooled them, and he's a very good friend of my boyfriend. So we were talking one night, and I just asked him that I'm making this 1-minute short film. Would you like to be a part of it? And he was like, yeah, I would love to. And he was a natural, so it was not really much directing. We just gave him the script. We gave him and Anastasiia the script. They had a couple of questions in terms of actually the cues of the lighting, when the strobing happens, when she should duck down, when he should, stop and pause and all those things. But when it came to acting, they were on point. It was a lot of fun.
The effect was done very well, I have to say. Now, I enjoy a good practical effect whenever I can get one. Go ahead, Joe. I cut you off there.
Oh, no. You know what the short film reminded me of was another sci-fi little film called The Hidden.
Oh, yes.
Because it's sort of like, like how I guess once the Uber or taxi driver got bitten and he pops up into the other car, it's sort of like that body swap. It's like, hey, whatever bit this person or this gal, it's now in this person. And, and as I was saying, this is a real fun, short little film that I would tell people to watch because it's right there. You got your subject and it's there.
I thought you were going to say it follows.
It follows everything, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it follows.
It's nice, it's simple, but it's very well executed, and timing is excellent on it, both in the pacing and, of course, in the execution, because you needed that for the special effect there, which is why the magician, of course, really needed to know his light cues. That makes perfect sense. So it was a very well done, and I do enjoy good practical effects whenever we can find them in a good movie.
Thank you so much.
I critique movies often on my show, and one of the things I will say is that, this started out as a short movie, and it should have stayed there. Because some of these things, they just draw them way too long and just throw in so much stuff it means nothing. But yours are really very well paced as far as that's concerned. It's great to see.
The stories fit the runtimes. It's not the other way around. It's never the runtimes fit the stories. It's I have a story, but I only want to keep it at a minute because that's as far as I want to go with it. And as an audience, you enjoy it because it's like you saw the best part of whatever world is here. And when you come across shorts that are this engaging, you kind of want more, right? You kind of want like, well, what happens after that, right? and that's how shorts become features, right? And producers say, well, where's the rest of it? Do you have any more script to this? Can we expand it? There was a short that comes to mind. I know the feature is called Lights Out. But that began as a short.
Sandberg,
Yeah, that began as a short, and I'm sure people say, well, where's the rest? We want to see more of this. But to be honest, I enjoyed the short more than the feature, although I saw the feature and it was good, but it kind of just had the same gimmicks throughout. But hey, that guy was successful, and there's been other films. I think there was one that it started out as a short, and Steven Spielberg brought him on, and they're working on a feature. I haven't heard back from that maybe in about a year. But, I wouldn't be surprised if later on down the line, we see someone comes around and says, I really liked your idea. And this is something that maybe we can play around in, and maybe we can expand it a little bit.
Cargo is another movie where they did a great short and used that to pitch and made a lovely movie out of it. That's one of the guys from Lord of the Rings. So actually, the nice thing about that one is that they were able to add to it. most of the time when you have a short and then make a movie out of it, they're just filling in stuff and putting things in there to make it longer. This one actually added to the storyline, which was very nice. So, which I imagine we could do with you, Rush. Now, are you one of those people that has a lot of different ideas percolating away? You can't wait to get back in front of the camera because you've got another script to write and story to tell, or do you take longer?
I do miss filming. I do have a bunch of short film ideas. It's not like I'm always thinking about it, like I am sitting in bed and I have this idea. It's not that easy for me. I feel like I'm first a director and then a writer. Writing, it doesn't come super easy, but I feel like if I have like a germ of an idea, if I can find a way to expand it, great. I that's how I came up with Shadow at the Door and all, and just going into your memory and your experiences, or even your daily when you observe something on the street or whatever, if it makes sense and you go like, what if this happened, what if something something monotonous on a daily basis gets merged with something unnatural and something unusual that you don't expect. And that's what I thought with Dark Passage. How can an Uber driver be attacked with this completely normal looking girl who's just sitting right behind? Exactly. Right. So you
take that germ of an idea and you sneeze on as many people as you can with it. And to see what you come up with.
We're all infected. Congratulations. We're dead.
I love horror. It's just so much fun. You can just come up with so many different ideas. Between under 5 minutes, you can just do so much with horror as a genre. It's just, there's always something new you find in it, whether it is supernatural or vampire or werewolves or
romantic or comedy.
Exactly. Yeah.
Romance is usually a comedy. It's usually disaster in my case, but.
Or romantic horror. Yeah.
That's right. There's nothing wrong.
Heartbeat. Remember that?
I will say this. It's all fun. You can come up with incredible things in horror or sci-fi that people may or may not experience or seen compared to like, you could make a romantic horror film, which would be kind of unusual, but hey, who knows? It might be a smash hit. Could be
the
like
Skin
the
I Live In
Mash.
was kind of that way. There was a lot of romantic elements in it, and that was with Antonio Banderas. It was a pretty graphic movie, but yeah, that was, if I had to think of a horror romance movie, that was pretty close.
I'm old. I said the Maltese Bippy, and none of you even flinched. Now, maybe Joe here is old enough to remember You Bet Your Bippy. Remember that?
Yes.
Okay, those guys made a horror comedy movie called The Maltese Bippy.
Yep.
Oh, check that
Just
one out.
like
It's got a great werewolf sequence in it.
Yes. Or you can always go back to the always lovable, the cult classic, The Attack of the Killer Tomato.
Well, this was long before that, but yeah.
Of course.
See, this is a horror show, Roshni. I have a head full of gray hair, and I haven't seen these yet.
Make that list.
Yes, I imagine Miss Rush here has not seen the gentleman that made Walter.
Right.
So Roshni, what are you working on next? Considering that pandemic has basically stopped half of the year, but things are kind of getting back into motion. Productions are creaking open. I know my cousin was just brought back into Hollywood, so I know that people are going back to work. But when you go back in, what do you have cooking?
I have a short that I want to film in October, a Halloween short, and I have the feature right now, which is we are still in talks with the studio in LA. I have a bunch of short stories that I want to put together and make a book, publish a book, hopefully early next year or end of the year. I have another horror feature that I'm currently writing. So I'm really excited for that. Then we'll be shopping that around, but we have the outline idea already. Just got to get cracking on the script. But yeah, that's that right now.
Oh, that's fantastic. I'm looking forward to reading your stories.
Oh, thank you.
Could give me nightmares. You know,
I'm going to take that as a compliment.
No, seriously, I do love reading, good horror stories, and
They hit you in different ways. Literary, visual, yeah.
Yeah. And of course, we're always looking forward to your next projects as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you. Whenever I have like these screenings, I had one person come out and say, I love that movie. It scared me so much. And every time someone said, it's scary, I feel good. I feel so about it. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to take that as a compliment. And, for me personally, I love making movies that I'm very much inspired by Richard Matheson sort of stories or Sterling sort of stuff. Or James Cameron, just stuff like that. Super enticing to me. Yeah.
And Marashi, great pick on Richard Matheson. There you go.
Oh,
great
I love
writer.
Him. Oh my God, I love his stories.
Yes,
Bhatia is my favorite one of all.
Well, it's basically I got to get Anthony to watch his book that was turned into one of my favorite horror films, The Legend of Hell House.
Oh, yes. And welcome back, Al.
Gosh, know what goes on in this house. The lights blink, the internet goes out, dog screams.
You sure you're not in a movie yourself? Because that sounds like the portents of something that some dark creatures going to start happening.
I got my big scary knocker back there, so.
Well, where can everyone find you, Roshni?
Yeah.
You can find me on Instagram at Roshni Bhatia, at Twitter at Rush Bhatia. And my website will be up in about 24 hours. That's rushbhatia.com. Yeah. So,
yay.
Thank you.
Thank you for being on. Yeah. You're a friend of the festival. Yeah. Your work is astounding. It's no surprise that your films make long and varied festival runs. Anybody that goes on Film Freeway and you look up your work, you can see just the list of festivals and how many horror fans are enjoying your work. And I can say without a doubt that if you have any festival exclusive films, they're definitely going to be finding their way into Death Parade Film Fest 2021 in San Jose. So, we always look forward to talking to you and seeing what new work you have. Plasmid was amazing. These shorts were just as good. And we wish you all the best on your projects that you're currently working on.
Thank you so much. And Joe, Al, Anthony, I'm so happy to be on. And I'm so glad that Plasmid even found Death Parade, because again, that was one of the first festivals we chose, and this is just like a long-lasting relationship. Getting in touch with Kevin, and now these bunch of other films, and the first thing in my mind was I need to submit to Death Parade.
All right, and as Kevin would say, you're more than welcome to come to the Film Fest in 2021.
He told a composer that, hey, you got to bring your piano. I'm like, you know how much that's going to cost to ship?
Come on.
And then he shows up with it. So.
And then he shows up. Yeah, of course. Open invitation, Roshni. Yes. You come on stage. We'll have a Q&A with whatever film that we're screening there. But we understand you're busy.
I will do my best. But what are the dates? Is it confirmed?
Not confirmed yet. I'm gunning for October. I'd be happy with September, October, either one of those, because Halloween is, as you've noticed, is now beginning in September. I prefer October because I'm just a diehard Halloween fan, but we don't have any dates yet. I think once theaters fully reopen, because I have been in touch with the theater manager, and I've already expressed that we're definitely going to be doing it. She just can't pick a date because she doesn't even know what's going to happen next week. We're still in we're in the red color now as far as the coronavirus in our county, which is good because now we can open up some things for, indoor dining. They haven't mentioned anything for theaters or gyms. I think we have to be in the next phase. We just left Purple, which was like, oh, it's all bad over there. So now it's a little bit less bad, but it's still bad enough that outdoor stuff is good, but yeah, indoors is still dicey. In fact,
Slowly.
In fact, I think I'll probably push it to late October if I had to guess, because I kind of want to ease the social distancing. I would like as many festival goers to be there as possible. While I do respect, the 6 feet between, it doesn't bode well for an indoor audience. If you know what I mean. You're talking about half the theater is filled, and it just wouldn't be as enjoyable, I think. So I'm willing to wait. That's why I pushed it out. I'm willing to wait until time comes when everyone can just go back there and enjoy it like we did before.
Right. Yeah, I hope that works out, because there's so many that are doing like drive-in. There are some that are social and live. So yeah, it's gonna be really interesting to see what the new post-corona world is gonna be like.
Oh, maybe it's a drive-in. I don't know. I haven't been to a drive-in in God knows how long. Well, I know they're all the rage now.
I'll tell you this much. I have a friend doing a drive-in with association with Joe Bob Briggs. And so if anyone wants to send out their films from Film Freeway, you have up until, I think, next week to submit your films to them. If you go to my Facebook page, I posted it on my page.
What's your Facebook page, Joe?
Joe Flynn.
Joe Flynn.
Just easy to find me. The dead guy. Joe Flynn.
Well, if you're going to say stuff like that, with my show, I'm always looking for trailers and fillers and shorts and so forth. So anyone who's got one, you can go to my website, thecreaturefeatureshow.com, and contact me about sending me a clip or something for me to throw up in there, or if you've got a full-length feature there, or an animation cartoon or something. Yeah, I'm always interested in seeing what people have got.
Yeah.
Got to be better than some of the movies I show.
Well, that's all the time we have for today.
So
oh, yeah, definitely. Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Front page stuff.
Yes.
Always.
Well, I want to thank Roshni for coming on and spending time and answering our questions about Celebrity Stalker and Dark Passage. Obviously, there's going to be more films coming from this talented filmmaker, and we are deeply honored that we're going to be a part of that process. So for Joe Flynn, Al Omega, Roshni Bhatia, and myself, Anthony DeRowan, good night, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you. Good night.